everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, then welcome. Tanchikia Wow Mizumi. My name is Abigail, or Abby. Abigail Dishnikashun. I am Métis and autistic and love talking about autism stuff. So this is where I do that, and as it is April, I am once again doing the 30 Days of Autism Acceptance prompts made by my friend Audie J on Tumblr. And I am tired and have had a long day, so I am holding toothless for the video. Today is April 9th, so today's prompt for the 30 Days of Autism Acceptance is, are you ever prevented from doing things because of sensory issues? For example, clothes you'd want to wear, places you'd like to go, etc. How does it make you feel? Talk about it. Oh, there's a lot of things. I struggle a lot with sound and bright lights, and depending on how tired I am, that can get significantly worse. So I have to plan really carefully to make sure that I can handle those things if I'm going to be in a situation that involves those things. This does include theater, and I love theater. I'm seeing a musical on Saturday evening, so I'm being as careful as I can this week to make sure that I'm rested enough that it won't get overwhelming. The power of special interest helps, but it's still a lot of people and higher volumes, and theater often has some pretty elaborate lighting. It's Chicago. I don't know a lot about this show, but I do know that it has some major dance numbers, and those probably come with intense lighting. And when I saw Taylor Swift's Eras tour a couple years ago, I was so tired after, like, tons of people, obviously a lot of noise, obviously a lot of lights, really worth it, but I was so tired, and I really had to make sure that I was well rested in the lead up to that. Yeah, clothes are also a thing. There's a lot of things that I would love to be able to wear, but I can't always. I really need to, like, I have like 2 wardrobes basically, like nice things for when I'm feeling good, and then really loose baggy stuff for the bad sensory days. You have seen me over the last few videos repeatedly wearing the same baggy red sweater. I need the comfy clothes after work some days. The biggest thing for me, though, is definitely food. That's where I am most likely to fully pass on things. I probably fit the criteria for an ARFID diagnosis, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, but I can't be bothered to go through the diagnostic process again. I put off learning to drive for a full 2 years, specifically because of food, actually, so buckle up for this story. So when I was 15, going on 16, a couple friends who were a few months older had already started young drivers, and I overheard them talking about lunch at their Saturday in-class lesson. I don't really get how driving school works in the States, which I think is where most of my viewers are from. Like, outside of Audie Jake's video that he did recently about his experience with learning to drive. That also doesn't sound like the most conventional driving education in any regard. But for those who are unfamiliar, how Young Drivers works is, in addition to the in-car lessons one-on-one with an instructor, there's also big classroom things with like videos and lectures and all of that stuff to make sure that you know the rules of the road and everything before you're even in the car. It's very well organized, like super specific. Like, it is a big driving program, like definitely across all of Ontario at least. I don't know about the rest of Canada, but Young Drivers is just very much a thing in Ontario. I think there's other driving schools as well in Ontario, but Young Drivers was the only thing outside of like getting taught by our parents in my hometown. So anyway, those big like in-class lessons, they were on Saturdays and were, I think, like 4 hours each over a handful of Saturdays. I forget exactly how many, since it's been 13 years since I did it now. Like, I've done an entire university degree since then. But because of how long they were, there was a lunch break. And I knew that when I learned to drive, I would be doing young drivers. Like, yeah, it was pricey, but my parents were going to want me to do it that way. They had already said that they would pay for it, rather than trying to teach me themselves and make sure I learned everything properly, rather than one of them trying to show me how to parallel park or something. They decided the cost was worth avoiding the stress. So anyways, I overheard my friends talk about this lunch break, and me being me and super anxious around the existence of food and not knowing I was autistic, I panicked and assumed that this lunch was some sort of cafeteria type thing where I would have to deal with the embarrassing situation of being super picky and probably unable to eat what was available in front of everyone else there. So I did the one thing that seemed remotely logical at the time and just didn't learn to drive when I was 16. Not because cars were scary, which they were, but because food was scary. That frightened me way more than any part of the actual driving did. It sounds wild now, but it's true. I could have asked my friends to explain the lunch thing, but I was also afraid of sounding nuts. I feel like I do sound nuts trying to explain this years later, but I'd already had a really hard time with being kind of judged by some family members over my eating habits, so I was super private about that. I just avoided food situations as best I could. But then around the time that I was turning 18, I was running out of time to put it off. University was going to be happening, which meant leaving the safe small town and going to a big city. I kind of knew learning to drive would be necessary at some point. I was graduating high school that year. The victory lap, as we call it, was an option. It's a thing in Ontario. I don't know about anywhere else. Like, full extra year of high school. It's just a thing. Anyways, I was going to do that, take some extra high school courses and delay things by 1 year. So I started Young Drivers that year. I sucked it up. And it was a bring your own lunch situation the entire time. I had panicked over nothing. I got to that first lunch break and discovered it was either bring something from home, buy food in the hotel restaurants. Young Drivers was held in the meeting room at the local Best Western, so it was in a hotel. Or there was a gas station next door. I got a Rice Krispie Square and a butter tart from that gas station that first lesson and felt so relieved and so ridiculous. This is probably the wildest example I can think of for avoiding something because of sensory issues. But you can probably imagine the other kinds of things I've avoided if I went out of my way to put off learning to drive for 2 years because of an imagined lunch scenario. I really wish I was making that up. It embarrasses me that I struggle that much with food. I wish I could just eat more things, but I just can't. I think about the things and I instantly feel sick at the mere thought of textures or flavors or strong scents. It's hard. I really don't know what I can do about that or if there's even anything I can do, but it's easier as an adult since I have more control over my life and meals. I can just have my safe foods, have better control over where I go to eat. It's a relief. But yeah, I wish I made up that story. It's 100% true. I did do that. I did put off learning to drive for 2 years because I thought that Young Drivers would have food that I wouldn't be able to eat and that it would be mandatory. I did that. Anyway, that's about all I can think of for today's prompt. And yes, I can drive now. I did the whole thing and that's fine. But yeah, that's about all I can think of for today's prompt. Thanks for watching. Merci pour ton temps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you again for tomorrow's prompt. Bye.